Have you ever wondered why a certain smell or a song on the radio can just send this jolt of anxiety through you, even though you know you're perfectly safe? That's exactly what we're diving into today, based on the incredible work of Dr. Bessel van der Kolk. See, trauma isn't just a bad memory or a story we tell ourselves. It's an imprint. It's something our minds, our brains, and our bodies actually carry with us. You know, it's funny, Shakespeare actually nailed this centuries ago. He wrote, "All trauma is pre-verbal." What he meant is that in those moments of just overwhelming terror, the part of our brain that handles language can literally go offline. We're left in what's called a speechless terror, where the experience isn't stored as a neat story with a beginning, middle, and end. Nope. It's stored as raw feelings, physical sensations, and images. It lives in a place that words can't always reach. And that brings us to the big question for today, right? Why does the past sometimes feel so incredibly present? Why can something that happened 20 years ago feel like it's happening all over again right now? Well, this isn't about a lack of willpower. It's about biology, and we're about to see exactly how. So, to really get what this looks like in a person's life, let's look at a real story. We need to see how that echo from the past can just keep bouncing around in the present. Okay, so let's meet Tom. On paper, this guy had it all. Successful lawyer, married his high school sweetheart, had 2 great sons. A picture-perfect life. But inside, Tom was still in the jungles of Vietnam. The sound of his kids playing, the heat at a summer barbecue, for most of us, that's just life. But for his body, those were danger signals. His nervous system was still fighting a war, which made him feel like a monster around the people he loved most. He was living, sure, but he felt dead inside, completely disconnected from his own life. So, what on earth was going on inside Tom's brain to create this huge disconnect? To figure that out, we need to pop the hood and look at the brain's internal alarm system, a system that is designed for one thing and one thing only: survival. Think of your brain having 2 key players on the field. First, you've got the rational brain. Let's call it the watchtower. It's slow, thoughtful, and it sees the big picture. Then you've got the emotional brain. This is your smoke detector. It's lightning fast, and its only job is to scream fire at the first hint of danger. Now, during a traumatic event, the sheer terror can knock the watchtower completely offline. And for someone like Tom, the smoke detector just never really got turned off. It stays stuck on high alert, blasting the emergency alarm for things the rational brain knows are totally fine. And this is so important. When the brain is stuck in that survival mode, it's biologically impossible to thrive. I mean, think about it. All of your body's energy is being poured into fighting off these invisible threats. There's just nothing left in the tank for the things that actually make life worth living. Connection, joy, creativity, love. You simply can't be open and curious when your entire body is braced for impact. This leads to one of the most bizarre consequences of trauma, a condition called alexithymia. Basically, it means having no words for your feelings. Your body might be flooded with sadness, but your mind, which has been cut off from the signals, can't name it. It's like the story of the ant whose eyes would just stream with tears every time she left her family. And she'd say completely seriously, "Oh, it's just the cold wind at the airport. It always makes my eyes water." Her body was feeling the grief that her mind couldn't even begin to register. All right, this brings us to what might be the most powerful, most healing idea in this entire explainer. It's a total reframe of what we usually call symptoms, because they're actually something else entirely. Just take a look at this list for a second. Emotional numbing, always being on guard, feeling like you're watching your life from a distance. For anyone who experiences these things, there's often this deep sense of shame, this constant nagging question: what is wrong with me? You see them as proof that you're broken, or weak, or just wrong. But here it is. This is the transformative truth at the heart of healing trauma. These are not signs of a broken character. They are not a moral failure. They are brilliant survival strategies, every single one of them. That emotional numbing, it helped you endure something that was otherwise unbearable. That dissociation, it was a genius escape hatch when your body wasn't a safe place to be. That explosive rage, it was a defense against being utterly powerless. These weren't flaws. They were adaptations. They're what kept you alive. Okay, so if these are survival strategies that have just stayed on long past their expiration date, the question becomes, how do we help the body finally learn that the danger is over? How do we heal that split between the mind and body? Let's get into the pathways to healing. And let me tell you, the urgency here is just staggering. A huge study, the Adverse Childhood Experiences Study, or ACE study, gave us the hard data. They found that a person with 6 or more of these experiences was 4,600% more likely to become an IV drug user. This isn't some small niche problem. This is one of the biggest public health issues of our time. So here's the good news. Healing isn't about finding a magic pill to numb everything. It's about tapping into things we already have as human beings. 1, we heal in safe relationships. Community is literally a biological need. 2, finding words for what happened helps us make sense of it. 3, we have an incredible power to regulate our own bodies with our breath and with movement. And 4, we can actually work to create safer environments for ourselves and for others. And that's why the treatments that are most effective go way beyond just talking. They get the body involved directly. Things like EMDR use eye movements to help the brain file away old, stuck memories so they're not so terrifying. Yoga helps people feel safe in their bodies again, learning to pay attention to their breath and sensations without panic. Neurofeedback, theater, dance, they all work in different ways to rebuild a sense of inner safety and connection from the inside out. This quote from a patient named Kathy, it's just so incredibly moving. It shows you what real healing looks like. It's not just that she feels alive again and knows the trauma is over. The amazing part is what comes back, her compassion. Her focus shifts from her own pain to wanting to protect someone else. That, right there, is wholeness. And that brings us to the final, and maybe most important, part of this whole journey. It's about making a fundamental shift in our relationship with ourselves and learning to see our body not as the enemy, but as our most important ally in healing. See, the goal isn't to fix what's broken, because you're not broken. The goal is to reconnect. It's to integrate what happened into the story of your life so that it no longer runs the show. It's about being able to live fully right here, right now, without being constantly hijacked by the past. This quote just says it all, doesn't it? Trauma isolates us. It silences us. So healing has to be the opposite of that. Healing happens in connection. It happens when we can feel what's going on in our bodies, find the words for it, and share our truth with people who can actually hear us and make us feel safe. This slide really brings it all home. This is the transformation we've been talking about. It's moving from that painful, shameful question, what's wrong with me, to a much kinder, more curious one. What happened to me? It's the shift from seeing trauma as a life sentence to knowing it's an imprint that can be healed. It's about turning your body from an enemy into an ally and moving out of isolation and into real connection. And that leaves us with this one last powerful question. And this isn't a demand or another thing to add to your to-do list. It's a hopeful invitation. After everything we've talked about, the question isn't if healing is possible. The real question is, how can you or someone you love begin that journey of reclaiming your body? And with it, reclaiming your peace.